Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charmaine and it is back to school season. With it being January, at least for my country in Singapore, it is back to school season for most of us. So I thought it would be nice to sit down and create a video for you showing you how to create a simple, quick and easy makeup look that you can wear to school so that you can look awake, fresh, confident and ready to take on the day, whatever school brings your way. Wow, it's a rhyme. And because school days are long and tiring, and if you live in Singapore, it's gonna be icky weather all the time, I will also be showing you steps that you can take to ensure that your makeup look stays on for the entire day. And because I intend for this video to be like a semi get ready with me sort of style that is a hybrid with a tutorial, I might get a bit chatty in this video, but if you're interested in seeing how I create this makeup look, which is gonna be fresh and simple, pretty, please keep on watching. Okay, so for this video I intended to replicate back to school as much as possible. So I have my coffee here. So I'm gonna go in with my Clarins UV Plus Anti-Pollution Day Screen Multi-Protection Sunscreen in the Fairness shade. I'm gonna just drip about a puddle of product, about this much. And I'm just gonna dot it onto my face and blend it out. So this is actually a sunscreen, but I like to use it as a primer too because it's like a color correcting sort of primer look. I like to apply like a thin layer all over my face, and I find that even though this is a sunscreen and not technically a primer, its color correcting features allows me to look less sallow and tired and unhealthy from late nights and unhealthy diets. If you're on campus, chances are there are actually lots of areas where it's like open air and you'll be needing to walk into the sun. So sunscreen, especially this one which is SPF 50 PA quadruple plus, is highly recommended so that you don't get tanned and burned. It's always just a good habit. I'll just put some on my ears too, just to protect them. And I recommend that after you're done with makeup every morning, take that extra 3 minutes or so to apply some body sunscreen all over your body. And if you want a recommendation for what sunscreen will be good for you, you can try out the Super Good Play Everyday Sunscreen. I have the hugest bottle right here, but they come in a couple of different sizes. You can use it for the face as well. I haven't used it as under my makeup before, but I've been using this on my body and it's been working out very well for me. It's SPF 50 as well, so you know that you'll be extremely protected. And I like this one because it is hydrating to the body, so it doubles as a body lotion, so you don't have to go in with the extra step. And also it's not sticky and it doesn't leave a white cast, so you can just go about your day without worrying about any like wardrobe or like skin malfunction or anything like that, you know. So after I'm done with the sunscreen, I'm going in with a foundation, and you can go in with whatever foundation choices you want. Usually I find that cushion foundations like this is the easiest thing to put on in the morning to throw on because they are, I find that applying foundation with like a compact and a puff usually cuts down time a little bit. I'm not sure why, but that's the case. So if you have a preferred cushion foundation, you can go in with that. But today I feel like using a liquid foundation, so I'm going to use that. I'm going to be using this foundation right here instead, and this is the Face Shop Ink Lasting Foundation. It also has sunscreen inside, which I find that is very good double protection, although you don't really need it, but it's just inside there. I'm going to take 1.5 pumps or so onto my hands, and I'm just gonna dot it on my face first before going in to blend it out with a brush. So I actually graduated from university with a degree in English, and I studied English literature. And you have applied everything on your face with your finger and you look like a ghost right now. Going with the brush, I'm using just like a slanted kabuki brush. This one is from Shiseido. And I'm just gonna blend it out. And I was just trying to say, but I can't really multitask. It's like, I'm really bad at multitasking. But anyways, I was just trying to say that I graduated at the end of 2018. So in 3.5 years, I graduated from school with a degree in English. So I read English literature when I was in school, and if you're curious, I was from Nanyang Technological University, or NTU. Okay, now the foundation's blended in. We've covered the acne quite a bit because the Slim Fit foundation is actually really good for covering all sorts of acne. Let me just get rid of some of the foundation on my lips because I look like I'm dead. When it comes to foundations, especially for school, you want something that is like quick blending and lightweight so that it doesn't look too cakey on your skin, but you also can blend it out very well while being high coverage if you need it. If you don't need it and you have very good skin, then you might even want to skip foundation and just go in with concealer, because that would take one step out of your morning routine, because chances are you'll be rushing for school by 3rd week in or something like that. And then once we're done with this, we're gonna go into some concealer, and this one is my RMS Uncover Up concealer and I have it in 00. Just gonna put it under my eyes like so to brighten the under eyes a little. This is more on the hydrating side, and it actually creases quite a bit if you don't set it and you have oily skin, so I recommend setting this concealer after you're done using it. Or you can always opt for something more on the long-lasting side, like I have the Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer as well. The Born This Way concealer is slightly thinner and more likely to set nicely, but this one is more on the oilier emollient side. Not oily, just more emollient. And with an emollient concealer, setting would be the best bet when it comes to longevity. Or if you want, in my everyday life, I can actually just go into the toilet to blend out this concealer that is under my eyes and top up if I want to, like just touch up my makeup with this concealer in my pouch. But I remember that when I was in school, we would just be rushing around to classes and to meetings and to this and that, and you're always so busy that even I myself never wanted to kind of fuss with my makeup. So I like to have something that's long lasting and simple so that I can just go about my day without worrying about touching up my concealer, you know? So it depends on your lifestyle and the way you choose to live your school life, your uni/poly life. Oh yeah, I was from poly as well, so while most kids here in school that goes to uni goes through too many years in uniform and a rule that dictates that you can't wear makeup, I, on the other hand, attended poly with the rest of the kids from Singapore, polytechnic, and I have been wearing makeup since I was 17 to school. So you best believe I've got the whole long-lasting makeup routine set and figured out. Next, you want to go into your brow product. I have my good old Kat Von D Brow Struck Dimension Powder right here in the color light brown. This is just my go-to brow product of the moment, so you can go in with whatever you're comfortable with using. But brows are important, and please don't skip brows. Unless you have like gorgeous structured brows that are already, I don't know, like they're already presentable. I barely have any brows, as you can see. So I'm just gonna touch that up and create my usual brow shape. Let me know if you want like a in-depth brow tutorial or like a how I do my brows kind of tutorial. I would gladly do one for you. I remember back in the day when I was in poly, which means it would be like 7 years ago. 5 to 7 years ago. 5 to 7 years ago would mean that we were in 2012 to 2015. That was when I was in poly. And I remember back in the day, for the most part of my schooling years in polytechnic and university, the super structured Instagram brows were very in at that time. So my brows back then was incredibly strong as well, because everyone and their mothers would be using brow pomades to really draw out their brows, and it was a whole thing back then. If there is like some space right here, I'm gonna put on some pictures so that you can see the state of my brows back when I was in school. That was a sight to behold. I mean, they don't look bad, don't get me wrong. They looked good back when those structured, super thick and heavy brows were in. Thanks, Cara Delevingne. As much as I had fun drawing in my brows during that period, I'm very glad that that phase is over, because I'm very happy with my lighter, more believable brows right now. Actually, if it's not for the fact that I'm chatting as I do this, the brows will take a very short amount of time to form. And then after that, I would always like to go in with like a brown mascara of some sorts to alter the color of my brows and sort of set the hairs in place. Although this brown mascara doesn't really set the hairs in place as much as it transforms the color. My main motive for using this is to transform the color because I have dyed hair and chances are you have dyed hair too. So as you can see, this one matches my hair color, if you can see, a little more than my natural brow hair colors. But I find that if your roots have been showing, it's actually not that bad to not wear some brow color transforming mascara. And then to look more awake, I like to brush my hairs up vertically. And that kind of just lifts the whole face and makes the look a lot fresher. I find that the bushier the brows, I mean, don't take it too far, but the bushier the brows, which means when you do this, you can see that the brow becomes a lot bushier. I find that bushier the brows, the more awake and fresh you look. So I'm gonna focus on doing that. It looks weird when you look up close, but then when you look at your reflection from further away, it actually looks quite okay. And then at this point, you want to powder your face. Generally, I do not like to powder my face because I have quite dry skin, and this step, depending on the day, might make my face look very bad. But for the sake of the video and for demo purposes, I'm just gonna powder my face. Powdering your face usually helps ensure that your makeup lasts longer, because it keeps the oils at bay. Even when you start getting oily through the powder, you can always just go in with a piece of tissue and block your face gently. And then what that does is it would leave the oil, but whatever powder that is already deposited on your skin would become refreshed once more. If you can find a good finely milled powder, this one is the Oil Control Water This one is the Oil Control Water Blotting Powder from the Face Shop. I think any sebum powder from like Korean brands, which is usually a lot more affordable than their Sephora counterparts, I'm pretty sure that your makeup will last a lot better that way. And so that's our base makeup done. Like so. And at this stage, either at the start of my makeup before foundation and primer, or like around this stage where I forget, especially after powdering my face, I'll find that my lips are very dry. So when that happens, I would apply some moisturizing lip oils or lip balm. In this case, I'm using the Clarins Instant Light Lip Comfort Oil, like so. Whatever moisturizing product I have on my lips will start moisturizing and softening lips down, so that when I go in with lipstick and some lip color, it would not appear too dry and crusty on my lips, and it would be a lot more comfortable. It will go on very well. It will go on so much better when the lips are moisturized. For simplicity's sake, I am going in with my Going Coconuts palette from Colourpop. It looks like this. It has a very yummy collection of neutral shades, and it's a very simple 9-pan palette, which means that it isn't too confusing to look at. It's just a very nice basic palette. So for a quick simple look, I want to go into a lovely bunch right here. This is like a warm brown matte shade. You can also go into Coolada, which is this shade over here if you choose to. It really depends on your mood actually. Actually all of these. So these 3 shades right here are all matte shades that you can opt for your crease color. And you just want to put a little bit into the crease to kind of warm things up and make your eyes stand out a little more. I mean, you can always opt to not wear any eyeshadows, but I find that morning's a lot more bearable because I wasn't a morning person when I was in school, especially because I tend to stay up really late into the night, just either rushing homework or rushing my essays and papers, rushing studying, rushing Netflix. So many different things that I would do at night. I would consider myself a night owl. I didn't really go out partying or anything like that, but even so, I would stay up very, and usually I wouldn't be able to get up in the morning. And then what you want to do is like go down under to this outer lash line area over here with some shadow. of the same color to like just further define the eyes. So now you can see that there's like a wash of brown on the eyes. I'm gonna go into Cocoa Crush right here in the middle with my finger. It's like a nice rosy gold shimmery pink champagne shade. And then I'm just gonna put it all over my lid, my mobile lid area. And then what this does is it actually just really brightens up the eyes and make you look a lot more awake because it adds so much sparkle to your eyes. With that shade alone, it really makes you look a lot more like bright eye and bushy tailed and ready for the day. Then you can go into palm reader right here into your inner corners to brighten up the inner corners for additional like brightening effect. And then with this step, you would look the most awake. I really love this palette. So by this point, you can go in with either a pencil liner or a liquid liner, depending on what kind of look you want. I will show you what the pencil liner does first, like what I would do with the pencil liner, and then I'll go in with the liquid liner to show you what I actually do when I go to school. Let me zoom you in closer for this. This pencil liner that I'm using right here is the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in Best O. This is in their old packaging. I think they changed all their creme gel liners into these like full colored packaging over here, but for now I have this one, which is an older one. What I like to do is put this pencil into my tight line like so. So for a tight lining, you want to put it on that piece of meat that is like right below your lash line, inside a little. I like to put it there so that my lash line looks a lot fuller and there's a lot more definition in my eyes like so. And then I like to go over top into the lash line, not really on it but into the lash line, so that I kind of create this soft smoky line with this creme gel pencil liner. And I really like the ColourPop formula because it is very creamy, so it doesn't tug on your eyes very much. Then I like to go in with my fingers to kind of just blend everything out a little bit so that it's not too harsh and too obvious. And I like to just take my time to add in more pigment when I want it, so that it looks more like a gradient sort of look. And the good thing about the ColourPop liner is it's also very cheap and it lasts forever on my eyes as well. This eye suddenly looked a lot bigger than this eye, even though it's like the same thing. It's just because of the liner that your eyes look a lot more defined. Even with a pencil liner, I like to go into my inner corners a little bit and sort of just add a little bit of depth here so that it makes my eyes look a lot more elongated. As you can see, it looks more like a point here than here. With a pencil liner, you can also go into creating a smoky wing if you want to add the extra pizzazz. I know girls back in school who would literally do their foundation, their brows, and like a liner and then call it a day. But if you're talking about like a full makeup look that really makes you look super put together with minimum effort and time, then the eyeshadow makes everything look a lot more coherent in a sense. So the difference between a pencil and a liquid liner is that the pencil would create more of like a softer edge. Like you can see that it's like slightly hazier, not too harsh in its line. And the color I'm using is like a blackened purple kind of color. You can opt for like a brown, you can even opt for a black. It really depends on your preferences. But as a rule, if you use black, it's going to be very harsh. If you use a brown, it would look more monochromatic with the eyeshadow and therefore look softer, and basically your eyes would get the definition without the makeup-y harshness of like a bold, defined statement line. This pencil eyeliner thing going on here is actually very nice. So if I am going to school right now after this tutorial, I would stop right here. But because this is a tutorial, I'm gonna show you what a wing does. And because I have like a kind of like a black and purple look going on over here, I'm going to use my Kingdom liquid eyeliner in burgundy. You can use a black, a brown, any color you want. I would do the exact same thing, but instead of just tight lining the eyes, I would draw into the lash line like so. and create a wing similarly. We have a problem right now because I don't want to ruin the haziness of that line. With the liquid liner, you can see that it's gotten a lot more defined and sharp instead of just full haziness, which you can see on the top lash line over here. I'm just not gonna go full harsh because I really like that hazy look. If you have the time, you can always just pair a brown, purple, black, whatever pencil and liquid liner to create this look over here, which is more of like a harsh to soft gradient sort of effect. And when you have like a liner look like this, it just looks so much more put together, doesn't it? So I will go do the other side of my eyes and I'll be right back. Okay, hi, I'm back, and I also tried to save some time with applying some mascara onto my lashes as well. The mascara that I'm using is from Excel and it's their Prune Long and Coloured mascara. Let me zoom you out first because I'm super close. Okay, so with that done, I'm going in with my bronzer over here. This is from Too Faced as usual. I literally only have 2 bronzers and I always use this one. Then what you want to do is just kind of bronze up your face. I'm not really focusing on contouring, but I think this is a very welcome step, especially because like as a student, if you're like me, unhealthy diet is part of your lifestyle by choice or not. And generally when you eat too much salt, especially at night, whether it be like instant ramen or potato chips or anything, even like if you drink too much, bloatedness is a real thing, like water retention, and your face will tend to look a lot more swollen and bloated than it usually looks or it can look, especially in the mornings. So what I recommend is, of course, watch your diet, but if that's too hard for you in the morning, just try to drink more water when you wake up, then bronze and contour a little bit so that your face just looks a little smaller, a little more structured. And honestly, it seems like there's a lot of steps over here, but once you get these steps down and you practice enough, it actually becomes very fast, especially because like it's more routine than anything. You don't really have to think about it. You just kind of, once you know where you're supposed to put like your bronzers and all your face products, it actually takes very fast to just like sweep it on, and I wouldn't say run out the door, but sweep it on and you're done with that step, you know. So this is an optional step, but I really like to do it to sort of give the entire face more structure. So it really depends on you. You can always skip this step, but I just can't stand my face without this step anymore, especially when I have like a more or less full face of makeup on. If I'm trying to sell you on this step for school, it would be like, if you have friends and you want to take selfies, contouring your nose would make sure that you're always selfie ready, because the camera always flattens your face a lot more than you want it to. So by applying some contour to like sort of carve out your nose, that powder will help with keeping that structure on your face when it captures the light that's like on your face, even if it's not flash photography, you know. So if you're out trying to create the best memories in terms of selfies and any school photos that you want to do for school, you can always opt to contour the nose, contour the face, so that your face has a lot more structure when it comes to impromptu photos like that. Because I mean, if you have friends you want to take selfies, right? I did it too, and I don't consider myself as someone who had a lot of friends in school. It was my fault because I was literally almost never in school, and I never participated in any clubs when I was in uni because it wasn't my thing. Do I regret it? No. But if you're not like me and if you are more sociable and you love your schoolmates, then that's something that might happen, like selfies might happen, and this would help. This is like the secret to looking like you had sleep and water and have your life together. This one is Flexitarian from Colourpop, my favorite highlighter to look very glowy, but this has the potential to look super metallic and bionic and like you are a robot. So make sure to really blend it out and not pack too much on at one place at a time. Next, you would want to go in with some blush because that makes you look awake and healthy and fresh. This one is the Soulmate blush from Colourpop from the Zoella collaboration, but any sort of warm peachy pink shade like this would be a very good kind of like blush shade for your everyday. As you can see, it just kind of brings a lot more life into your face. If it looks blushy, just put a little bit on your nose like so, and then it kind of looks like maybe you were running through school trying to catch up to class, or maybe you just came from like a morning workout, but actually you've been just blushing your face at home. It really just makes a lot of difference, and I always advocate blush, never skipping the blush. When we're at this stage, we're at the last step, and then that would be like lipstick or lip gloss. If I was in school, I would go for a gloss because that is the way to looking a lot healthier, more awake. And my favorite gloss is still the So Juicy Plumping Gloss in the shade Make It Savvy. You can either go in with like an extra layer of the Clarins lip oil or like another lip oil that has like a tint to it. So anything that's glossy. I just really like this hot pink shade because it looks really pretty when it's sheared out. And because it's in a squeezy tube, it's very easy to bring around, very easy to apply again. And not to mention that Colourpop is really affordable, so that's also a plus point right there. And one more thing about this gloss is that it has a minty flavor to it, and it leaves a tingly minty sensation to your lips. So in the event that you are falling asleep in class, you can always just apply some, whether at the bathroom or like just as you're listening to the teacher, if you want. And that kind of like just brings a little bit more of like a awakeness to you. It just refreshes you in a sense, and I find it always works for me. But in my case, I found this when I was already working, so that helped when I was working. So I imagine that it will help when you're in class as well, because classes are boring as well. Okay, so we are now done with the makeup. If you want to, like I always like to say in my long-lasting tutorials, you can always go in with like a... Let me grab a brush, hold on. Right, so I have my hair in a bun, so I'm just trying to brush it out. But I was trying to say that if... what was I trying to say? I don't remember what I was trying to say, but anyways, I'm just brushing my hair out right now so that we can do something about the hair. If we want to, you can always just leave it down. I've always been the type of person that cared more about my makeup than my hair, but I mean that's an occupational hazard, isn't it? If you see Shem in school, she usually has her hair down like so. And then this is like kind of like my go to school look. The real Shem in school will be wearing a different makeup look to school every day, and there were times at some phases in my life where I wore grey lipstick, black lipstick, orange, blue lipstick to school. I wore a full Instagram bead to school, and that was just how I was. But if you're like a normal student who doesn't want to do too much in the morning for school but still want to look put together and nice, and you want to know how I do my makeup look, like if you want to know how a makeup artist would be doing her makeup look to school, this is how I would do my makeup to go to school if I were a normal person who wants like a constant, reliable makeup look to go with. I think if you're anything like me at all, at any degree, you can always opt to change the color of your liquid liner, your pencil liner, your mascara, even the tones of your brown eyeshadow if you want. Some days you might opt for a no eyeliner look, some days you might opt for like a no shadow look, some days you might opt for a bold lip, anything. But generally in school, unless you're trying to be creative like me or like trying to test your limits, because I have tested my limits many times over every day when I was in school, you're not trying to risk botching your makeup when you're preparing to go to school or classes. The chances are you wouldn't want to like fuss with blending black eyeshadow into your crease and things like that. So I generally would opt to stick within the realms of like browns and peaches and pinks. Just eyeshadow shades that are easily blended into the skin, seamless, nice. Just a little bit of shimmer would always make you look a lot more awake and put together for school. So this is like how I would imagine a student would want to wear their makeup to school, especially on the daily. I mean, I can go on and on because school is still fresh in my mind, even though it's like a full year ago. Like I graduated about a full year I graduated a full year ago at this point, and as much as it feels super far away from reality for me, it also feels quite fresh in my mind, especially my experiences there, how I hated going to class, how I really had to drag my ass out of bed every morning, how I had to travel 2 hours back and forth from school. My school was very far away from my house, but I refused to stay in hall because I'm just not part of that crowd, man. So yeah, but I've always been a strong advocate on looking your best when you leave the house, even when it is in an environment where your looks are not supposed to matter as much as your brain does. I feel like it is a form of personal respect to look good for yourself, to look good so that you feel good. So in a sense, it's also self-care. When I was preparing for school, I would wake up every morning very upset that I have to go to school, but I would always try to find time, whether it be 10 minutes or 30 minutes, or if I wake up early enough, maybe even 45 minutes, to just sit down at my vanity or like on my bed, wherever I was doing my makeup at that point in time, and I would just put on music or YouTube videos or podcasts. Right now I would say I would listen to podcasts, but back then it was just YouTube videos every morning, and I would just play my YouTube videos, watch my favorite YouTube creators, and just go at it with my makeup and like just spend that time to make sure that I look put together before I leave the house. It's like a very therapeutic experience to be putting on makeup in front of the mirror in the morning before I have to, like the idea of getting ready, I guess, like the idea of like getting ready to look good for yourself, to put your best foot forward when you leave the door in the morning. It's just, there's something very therapeutic about the way you go through the motions to create your makeup look for the day, whether it be creative or just like a daily makeup look, like something like this where it's more on the natural side. Without fail, at the end of my daily morning makeup session, I would feel a lot better about the day. I would feel a lot less stressed, less upset that I have to wake up so early. I would feel like I'm ready for school to a certain extent. I might still be worrying for a paper or like a class that I haven't prepared for. I might still be worried about this and that in my life, especially as like a young adult / teenager. I would have a lot of worries that now that I think back, it's not even worth being worried about. But anyways, like I might still have worries in my brain, but I feel like I have become a lot more prepared to face whatever comes my way in the day. So in a sense, by incorporating this into your morning and making it a routine, making sure that you allocate time for yourself, allocate time for self-grooming, for a little pocket of time to show yourself the respect that you deserve or that you deserve, you'll just face the day a lot better, I would say. So But anyways, we are now at the end of my back to school makeup tutorial. I don't really like to call it a back to school makeup tutorial though, because the idea of a back to school makeup tutorial sort of implies that you would do this when you're back in school, so maybe the first 2 weeks where you sort of want to put your best foot forward, you'll be doing this makeup look. But then when time goes by the 3rd or 4th week and you just feel like you want to die from all the stress from school, you just start letting yourself go, and I don't really like that kind of concept. So instead of a back to school makeup tutorial, I hope you enjoyed this get ready for school makeup tutorial. And if you learned something, got some tips and tricks, liked watching and enjoyed watching this video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me in the future, please also remember to subscribe down below. My current posting schedule is every Tuesday and Fridays. Usually Tuesdays will be more of like a talky makeup chat kind of video, and Fridays would be like a tutorial kind of video. So if you have any like tutorial ideas or things that you want me to do, video ideas that you want me to create, please just leave them down below. And also I would like to implement a question of the day, so if anyone's watching till the end and you want to answer my questions, please do. So the question for today would be, are you still studying? And if yes, where and what are you studying? I would like to know. Please leave that in the comments down below. And with that, thank you so much once again for watching this video all the way to the end, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye bye.